So, it's almost time. Devon versus Levan, the battle which many people are calling the peak, the pinnacle of the sport, the clash of two titans at the highest level. But there can be only one. It will have to be either Devon or Levan, so who will it be? Let's take a look at the ways each of them could lose, starting with Devon Larratt, the fan favourite, the so-called underdog who seems to have rallied about the audience to combat his almost certain defeat at the hands of Levan. He has, of course, put together a formidable package in preparation for this match, but there may be a few chinks in his armour. Everybody is saying he has built tremendous endurance, which he may have done, but if we look at his physical condition in general, he looks out of breath, bloated and sweating even just talking. All of these, as I mentioned previously, are side effects of growth hormone abuse, which, combined with his rapid structural size increase, point to that being a factor. Just compare the size and thickness of his hands and the growth of androgenic or terminal hair on the forearms and back of the hands. This is a feat you see on almost all of the more extreme arm wrestling athletes, including Denis Saplenkov and Levan Saginashvili. In this earlier version of Devon, we can't see such extreme hair on the back of his hands, and the overall frame seems much lighter and less thick. So unsurprisingly, it's very likely that Devon has been hitting the growth hormone alongside other anabolics. So this massive increase in size may work against his so-called endurance boost, because he is naturally a smaller person than he is here, and the size gain is relatively recent, whereas Levan has always been, even at his smallest stages, a larger person, and his time spent being larger still than that has been longer than Devon. So Devon against such a force as Levan may actually end up gassing out. The second factor, strength. As he revealed with Larry Wheels, Devon recognises the need for strength, especially against such an extreme opponent as Levan. But as most people know, a 400-pound person has a greater capacity for strength than a 300-pound person does, although this is very nebulous and pushes into diminishing returns the heavier you get. Levan, as well as being 100 pounds heavier, is much less lean than Devon, so the amount of functional mass being compared might not be as extreme as people seem to say it is. But regardless, it's very unlikely that Devon has found a suitable training partner with a similar profile to Levan. So all of his training and strength goal-oriented progression has been towards an abstract concept of Levan, whereas Levan has multiple top-tier athletes in his immediate vicinity, so he would be able to train more regularly against people who would give a similar resistance to Devon. Either way, we have not seen Devon benching 250 kilograms or doing extremely heavy pull-ups or anything that we can really compare raw strength numbers with. We've seen his higher reps with 30 kilograms on the pronation used as a testament to great strength, but past a point, repetitions are less about strength and more just endurance. Regardless for the capacity of repetitions at 30 kilograms, a person who can move 100 kilograms for one repetition is pretty objectively stronger than a person who cannot. So in terms of brute raw strength, it is possible that Devon does not have the capacity to outpower Levan, and his supposed endurance ability may not be able to withstand the force that Levan pushes into him with. And then the fouls. It is something that people bring up a lot, that Devon has a greater tactical or table skills than Levan. I'm not sure how true this really is, but it is quite possible that Devon deploys more pre-match shenanigans to try and place Levan in a less optimal position. This may work out in his favour, but it may also work against him too, if the referee decides to foul him out for trying to circumvent the setup. There are also elbow fouls, which I think, based purely on body weight, are much more likely to happen with the lighter athlete, since Levan, being so much heavier, has much more weight holding him down against the pad. And then also combined with the possible strength difference, especially back pressure, it is possible that Levan, with his greater mass, could simply pull Devon off of the front of the pad, without even trying to move in any other direction. It would be a great shame, of course, if this entire match were won and lost only on fouls, and would definitely be a signal to all involved that fouls may need addressing sometime in the future. But other than those few things, I don't think there are many ways in which Devon could lose this match outside of the good old-fashioned being less able on the table. It is entirely possible that Devon might win, and we'll go over some of the weaknesses in Levan's armour that he might exploit in the next video. But regardless, this will be a very exciting match, and an important step in the future of the sport. Whichever person wins, the future remains fruitful and filled with possibilities. The two of them may remain at the top as the icons above all else, battling it out endlessly until one or the other just gives up out of lack of ability. Or another may rise up to trump them both. Perhaps Dennis will return to show them both how arm wrestling should be done. Perhaps a young buck we don't know about will be inspired by this to shoot up the rankings, who knows. Either way, the sport has always been a tumultuous and uncertain field, with most matches remaining stubbornly unpredictable. And that's just a thing that makes it so exciting to the fans and the audience and so attractive to potential investors. So however it turns out, Devon or Levan, the future is bright, and I'll see you next time.